speak.
The mayor, you're live.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our council meeting. Our town clerk has a fast announcement.
Alors, bonjour à tous. Simplement pour vous faire savoir que vous avez le droit de poser vos questions en français ou en anglais, que ce soit de façon orale ou de façon écrite, et également d'avoir le droit d'avoir une réponse en langue française si vous le désirez. Merci, c'était mon annonce.
Okay, we will, I'm opening the meeting and we have the public question period. There was only one question that came in before 4 p.m. and it was not receivable, to use the terminology. However, I am dealing with the resident directly by email on her question. So that's being taken care of privately. So now, are there any questions? I'm trying to see, let me just go here. Questions, new questions, 1 second. Okay, so here we go. Jeremy Levi. Item 14 relates to unpaid invoices to Ms. Mala Germanovich from 2019 and 2020. Usually invoices go unpaid for that length when there is a dispute. Was there a dispute? If yes, what was the dispute? No, there is no dispute. The invoices from 2019 were indeed paid, but we are not necessarily all the technical procedures were followed, and we are doing this resolution to simply legalize things, I guess. So that's what that's about, but there was no dispute. Okay, the next question, also from Jeremy Levi. Item 17 relates to...
Mr. Mayor, if you permit, there's no more item 17 dealing with the UMQ on the agenda.
Oh, that's not there. Okay, so it's a question relating to something that's no longer on the agenda. Okay, let me just adjust my thing here. Whoops. Always have a problem scrolling this thing. Let me see. All right, since somebody who's better at this, please. Oh, wait a minute, wait, I know what to do. Okay, just 1 second, gone. All right, we get to the next question, also from Jeremy Levi. There's no link for the public to access this meeting on the town's website. I received the link in an email. How can this be a legal meeting if it's not accessible to the public? And I will ask our town clerk to address that.
The information, as far as I know, were supposed to be on the website. The fact that Mr. Levy is present is the fact that it's available. He's not the only one asking question. I don't know how many people are present right now, but apparently we have at least a couple citizens present. I will have a look at it at next time. You know, I'm very surprised because I thought that everything was all right. So that's the only answer I can give you for now.
I know that the meeting was announced on our, it's a news item. It was in our electronic newsletter that came out at midnight last night. I didn't actually try to click on the link and it wouldn't have worked at that time. So I can't be 100% sure, but I certainly know that the meeting was announced, and normally when it's announced there's a link, so I really don't understand that, but we'll investigate. Okay, which brings us to 1 second, from Anonymous. What are the details of payment to Mala? I thought she was finally long gone, and I'm surprised to see additional payments still being made to her. Well, The details are actually known to all members of council. They are listed in our background documents, but basically it's for drawing up plans, helping supervise the placing of plans, things like that, as she was asked to do by our Director of Public Works, and other such things, helping come up with a list of plants and things that needed to be purchased, checking the inventory of plants that remained on a regular basis in our pen where we kept them in Public Works. And when plants died or were used in the wrong places by the green team, letting us know that we needed replacement plants, and all kinds of things like that. It was an enormous amount of work, and it's all documented by invoices, all of which have been verified. And some have been paid already for 2020. All have been paid for 2019, some for 2020. The remainder will be paid after this evening's resolution. Okay, and we get down, let's see, from Anonymous, same Anonymous or different Anonymous, I don't know. It says, when will we see the audit report regarding the flowers and expenses related to this? The answer is never. The auditors made it very clear that the report is not to be made public. It's confidential. It is for the use of the council administration only. Okay, next. Jeremy Levi, no, I received the link in an email. Okay. Next, Jeremy Levy, this is not a legal meeting. So again, I will refer to our town clerk. Is this a legal meeting?
It's a legal meeting. The presence of Mr. Levi is the evidence that the information was available. He said he received an email with the link. So if he received an email with the link was then available somewhere. So it's not Azar. So I'm sorry to say the meeting is legal, but Mr. Levi has the right to contest it in court if he wants.
Okay, thank you for that. Next question. A statement from Jeremy Levi. It must be accessible for it to be legal. Thank you for your opinion. Next one from Anonymous. The boarded up building on Côte Saint-Luc Road is now being renovated at its original 3-story height. This suggests or indicates that a 3-story building is profitable enough for the owner. Mr. or Ms. Anonymous, I note your opinion, and it is not a 3-story building. Now we have Anonymous. Are there plans she prepared? Seems there are none available. I presume you're referring to Mala. Yes, I have seen the plans. Richardson has copies of the plans. Our head of Public Works has a very fat binder stuffed with plans. There are plans that would take anyone a very, very long time to go through. There are plenty of plans. Okay, Anonymous. Only some of us got the link. Okay, thank you. And Anonymous, same or different. The link was sent by a council member by email. Okay, I thank you. That brings us to the end of the questions. And at this point, we will move on to the meeting. Just have to get it up on my screen. We're at item 3.0. On motion of councillor, this is adoption of the agenda. On motion of councillor Schaefer. Okay, a motion of councillor Schaefer, seconded by councillor
Alfasi.
It is resolved that the agenda of the special council meeting is hereby adopted as submitted. Anyone opposed? Okay, no one opposed, so that's adopted. 4.0, adoption of a bylaw 1025 on remuneration of election staff for elections and referendums. On motion of Councillor
Schaefer.
Schaefer, seconded by Councillor
Hattery.
Hattery. It is resolved to approve bylaw number 1025, bylaw on the remuneration of the election staff for elections and referendums. Anyone opposed? No. Okay, that's adopted. Brings us to 5.0, which is a bylaw with respect to tax rates. On motion of Councillor
Hattery.
Hattery, seconded by
Elfasi.
Elfasi, Councillor Elfasi. It is resolved to approve bylaw number 1026, decreeing and imposing the tax rates to cover the town's expenses for the year 2021. Anyone opposed? So that's adopted. I will just explain something. This is done every year. We do this even though we have not had our budget meetings. We haven't figured out what the tax rates are going to be yet, but this is apparently the proper procedure. We've been doing it for many, many years. There will be a budget meeting in December, and at that point, all the actual rates will be announced, and this bylaw will be updated with the correct rate. Okay, moving on, we get to item 6.0, adoption of draft bylaw number 795-9, modifying bylaw 795-2 concerning nuisance. On motion of Councillor
Schaefer.
Schaefer, seconded by Councillor
Hattery.
Hattery. Anyone opposed? Okay, that's adopted. I will note that in addition to what the council has seen on our agenda package, we've made one additional change, which is we are removing subsection D of section 4.4 of bylaw number 795, our nuisance bylaw. So we are making that additional change. The changes here are basically with respect to landscaping, noisy landscaping. It now cannot start before 8 a.m. on weekdays. That's one change. The other change is we're getting rid of subparagraph D, means that on the holidays in our bylaw, when we don't want noisy landscaping work, there will no longer be an exception for lawnmowers. So there'll be no noisy landscaping on the various holidays in our bylaw. Okay, that's what that's about. 7.0. Notice of motion of draft bylaw number 1010-11, modifying bylaw 1010 concerning tariffs. Notice of motion was given by Councillor
Goldwax.
Hattery.
seconded by sorry, there's no seconder. This is a notice of motion given by Councillor Goldwax. That is subsequent meeting of council, draft bylaw number 1010-11, modifying bylaw number 1010 will be submitted to council for adoption. All council members have received a draft copy of bylaw number 1010-11, and the motion to dispense with the reading of said bylaw was made. Brings us to 8.2, adoption of that draft bylaw. So on motion of Councillor
Hattery.
Motion of Councillor Edery, seconded by Councillor
Goldwax.
Goldwax. Just want to see something here. Okay, anyone opposed? No. That is adopted. Oh yeah, okay. Just to let people know what this one is about. We used to charge, I think, $1,300 for an application for a minor exemption. $400 of that was for publication costs. Since we now publish all these things on our website, there are no more publication costs, so we're removing that $400 from the fee because there's no longer any need for that. Okay. 9.0, another notice of motion. Let me just see. Okay. Okay, 9.0, notice of motion was given by Councillor.
Alfasi.
I'm sorry, Goldwax?
No, Alfasi. Alfasi.
Alfasi, sorry. Notice of motion was given by Councillor Alfasi that a subsequent meeting of council draft bylaw number 1027 will be submitted to council for adoption. All council members have received a draft copy of bylaw number 1027, and a motion to dispense with the reading of said bylaw was made. Brings us to 10.0, which is adoption of that draft bylaw. So, on motion of Councillor
Alfasi.
Alfasi,
Yeah.
seconded by Councillor
Goldwax.
Goldwax. It is resolved to approve draft bylaw number 1027 entitled Bylaw on the General Application of the Bylaws. Anyone opposed? That's adopted. And that one is just to refresh the list of people who can give tickets, basically. Brings us to 11.0. Notice of motion. Okay, notice of motion was given by Councillor
Schaefer.
Schaefer. Sorry, notice of motion was given by Councillor Schaefer. That a subsequent meeting of council draft bylaw number 1028 will be submitted to council for adoption. All council members have received a draft copy of bylaw number 1028, and motion to dispense with the reading of said bylaw was made. Which brings us to 12.0, which is adoption of that bylaw. On motion of Councillor
Schaefer.
Schaefer, seconded by Councillor
Edery.
Edery. It is resolved to approve draft bylaw number 1028, bylaw decreeing and imposing duties on transfers of immovables. Anyone opposed? Okay, no one's opposed, and I'm asking our town clerk to please record me as voting in favor. I don't normally vote when my vote isn't necessary, but on this particular item, I am indeed voting because it is just so significant.
Duly noted, Mr. Mayor. Duly
Okay.
noted.
Can you add my name into that vote?
I'm sorry?
Can you add me to that vote as well?
Everybody's there automatically. It's just that I wouldn't be mentioned if I didn't explicitly say I wanted to be mentioned.
Should have been done long time ago.
Okay, now I will explain to those listening that this is very, very important. Why? Because a few years ago, the laws about transfer duties were changed, and they gave municipalities the ability to adjust the rates adjust the rates of the transfer duties, which are known by the public as welcome tax, for higher value homes. There's no changes for the lower value homes. The way it works is for the first X dollars, it's a certain rate, a small rate. Next X dollars is a little higher, next X dollars a little higher, and so on. But in the top two categories, we have the ability to increase the rates. We have chosen to increase our rates to the same level as Montreal, Laval, Kirkland, I believe Town of Mount Royal, Montreal West, and basically most municipality on the island. They all have the same rates. We didn't, but we have now joined everybody else. The result will be an estimated extra $500,000 in tax revenue for the town starting next year. Well, starting as soon as we have a second meeting to pass this a second time, and from that point on, so let's say for 2021, we're looking at considerable new revenue, which comes from buyers of new homes. It allows us to keep tax rates for our current residents well under control. So this is very, very significant. Okay, happy we passed that. And now we move on to 13.0. the 8th renewal of our snow dump agreement with Côte St. Luc on motion of Councillor
Schaefer.
Schaefer, seconded by Councillor
Goldwax.
Goldwax. It is resolved that the Director General, or in the case of his absence, the Town Clerk, are authorized to sign the 8th renewal of the intermunicipal agreement for the dumping of snow with an effective retroactive date of November 1st, 2020, by which the City of Côte St. Luc allows the Town of Hampstead to use the Côte St. Luc snow dump located at the intersection of Kildare Road and Marc Chagall Avenue during the period of November 1st, 2020 to March 31st, 2021. Anyone opposed? That's adopted. I remember that agreement fondly. It was negotiated between myself and, at the time, Mayor Housefather. And it saved the Town of Hampstead an awful lot of money over the years. Okay, 14.0. Approval to pay the final outstanding invoices for our horticultural consultant, Mala Germanovich. So, on motion of Councillor
Daugherty.
Daugherty, seconded by Councillor
Schaefer.
Schaefer, it is resolved that the list of 2019 and 2020 invoices from the consultant, Mala Germanovich, is herewith deposited and forms an integral part of this resolution, that the unpaid invoices therein listed are approved for payment. Anyone opposed? No, no one's opposed. And I believe, I'll let our Town Clerk confirm, but I believe if anyone listening or anyone else would like to see that list of invoices, I believe it is now public. Am I correct?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, so there was a question about that, and I wasn't going to explain chapter and verse, everything there, but anyone wishing to see what I referred to is more than welcome to make a request of our
Mr. Mayor, if I may, it was I sent out the invoice that we received about Mrs. Germanovich to some people who asked in the past. The document that will be available is the document which is present with the actual resolution, which is a kind of compilation. So all the documents were already given to people who asked for it. So the document now that we have is a compilation that will be made available.
Okay, perfect. I thank you for that. And brings us to 15.0, transfer of funds from appropriate surplus. On motion of Councillor
Daugherty,
seconded by Councillor
Schaefer.
Schaefer. It is resolved that the Town Council approves a modification from the appropriate surplus account 55,992,000 as further detailed in the following table, with the funds to become applicable to an alternate project for an amount of $10,500. It's going from the money was for sensors for watering and garbage, and it's being transferred to a pool inspection app. Anyone opposed? Okay, so that's adopted. 16.0, another transfer of funds on motion of Councillor
Daugherty,
seconded by Councillor Schaefer. It is resolved that the Town Council approves the transfer of funds as further detailed in the following table for an amount of $19,228 from the appropriate surplus account 55,992,000 to cover expenses incurred in the 2020 fiscal period. It's going to Leduc Human Resources. The amount $19,228. Anyone opposed? Okay, that's adopted, and that brings us to almost the end. Now I believe the next item would be
Adjournment.
Well, any other business on the part of town councillors, of which there is none. second question period.
Mr. Mayor, there's no second question period in a special council meeting.
Oh, okay. But can I answer a question anyway?
Sure, sure.
Okay, because I do have this here, and this is important because it points out that I misspoke, and I don't like to misspeak, so I will read this. It says 5785 Côte Saint-Luc Road is a 3-story building in question, not the one at the corner of Glenmore at 6191 Côte Saint-Luc Road. Earlier comment tonight at 8:12 was the boarded up building on Côte Saint-Luc Road is now being renovated to its original 3-story height. This suggests or indicates that a 3-story building is profitable enough for the owner. Okay, I stand corrected. The council has been talking an awful lot in caucus about 6191 Côte Saint-Luc Road. More than half an hour was spent on that topic. So that's why I was thinking of that building when I gave my answer. But yes, the boarded up building is indeed undergoing some work, and it'll be good if they refresh the building and so on. But as to indicates a 3-story building can be profitable, well, it's by refreshing it and doing what they're doing, it'll certainly be much more profitable than when it's been boarded up, the home of a squatter with a machete, as it was in the past. And that's been the case for about 3 years. Not the squatter with the machete. He was removed as soon as we found out he was there. But it was boarded up, and they were sitting on a building making zero money at all. So profitable, I have no idea whether it'll be profitable, but it'll certainly bring in more revenue than having nobody there. Okay.
Adjournment.
The question about what is the dollar, I'll do another one, what the heck. Anonymous, what is the dollar amount of the invoices in number 14? Answer is 18,000 and change, if we're talking about the unpaid invoices. And that's it. We're done. And would someone like to move adjournment?
Schaefer.
Councillor Schaefer, seconded by Councillor Rudning. Anyone opposed? No. Okay, we are adjourned. I thank everyone for listening. I promise we will definitely look into the claims that that the link for this meeting was not available on our website. We'll look into it. We'll try to make sure something like that doesn't happen, if indeed it did happen. But I'm glad that we did have a certain audience, and so that's good. Okay, we are ending this meeting, and the councillors are going back to our caucus meeting, which has not concluded. So I'm saying good night to everybody. Be safe, and I'm tuning out of this.
Thank you.